Hi, and welcome to my channel. So I thought we would do something different today. I wanted to do a ranking of all of the Phasmophobia maps. So if you don't know, I probably have, actually let me look into it. So in Phasmophobia, I have 1,279.4 hours. So I thought this was a good time to do a ranking. So obviously it's subjective. If you have a different ranking, please let me know down in the comments. But as someone who plays a lot, these are the maps that I care the most about, that I play the most often, and let me know if your ranking matches mine. So, alright, here we go. So this is the tiered list of all the Phasmophobia maps. So what do you think Tanglewood is? Because everyone thinks that's the best map ever. It is S tier for me. It is a comfortable map. Anyone could play it. It's the one that you want to start out with because there aren't a lot of rooms. There are 2 floors, but it's not actually that bad. There's lots of hiding, and there's also secret hiding. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to the boys' room in the beginning of the map, where you can kind of wedge yourself in between the closet and the window a little bit. So even if there is no hiding, you kind of still manage to, survive there. So I kind of like the map because of that. So the next one is Edgefield. What do I say Edgefield is? What do you think? It is A-tiered. I think that Edgefield is a really good map. It is close to being S, but if the ghost is in the basement, it becomes a little bit tedious because there's the outer basement room and there's the inner basement room, and sometimes the ghost just still kills you. And there are times where the ghost will be in one of the rooms upstairs, but because of just how it is, it can be a bit tedious. And sometimes the ghost can show itself in the first blue room upstairs, but actually be in the main room because there's a connected wall. So it's still a good map. It's still a small map, so I do appreciate that. I appreciate small maps. I had a pretty shitty computer for the longest time that could not play anything but small maps, so I'm a bit biased on it. However, I do think that Edgefield could be a bit better. The main room and the blue room, especially being connected, can make things a bit difficult. Sometimes the hallway and the other rooms can make things a bit hard to figure out the ghost type. But the layout, I do love it. I love it when the ghost is in the beginning of the house and like the living room area. So I do like that. So next is Ridgeview Court. Where do we think that's going to be? It is a smaller map, so I say S tiered. Ridgeview did have a pretty much god spot for a little bit where you could hide behind the door going to the basement. And so you would just hide yourself behind the door. The ghost could go wherever they wanted and they would never see you. That's not the case anymore, so it's not as exciting. However, the map, the layout's so good. You start out, you walk towards the front of the house, you're immediately in the dining room, and there's a living room to the left, the kitchen to the right, and then there's a main room, and then the rest of the hiding spots and upstairs area, is pretty good. There's also the garage, which has 2 hiding spots, but there's so much, I would say shady hiding, but I do appreciate it. So there is the piano room, and you can actually hide next to the piano and survive. I have survived so many times there, and it is not an official hiding spot. And also in the kitchen, on to the left side of the fridge, I've hidden there so many times, and I've only died once, and that was because the ghost was really fast and was kind of glitching into certain areas. But otherwise, Ridgeview's great. Ridgeview's actually my favorite map, to be honest. Tanglewood, you know, has a soft spot for me, or I have a soft spot for Tanglewood, but Ridgeview is great. So let's go to Nell's Diner. So Nell's Diner is a newer map, and it is also a small map. And there are some things to like about Nell's Diner. There are lockers in Nell's Diner, and then there are a lot of hiding spots. There's a hiding spot in the cooler. There's a hiding spot behind the vending machines. I mean, there's obviously a lot of other hiding spots. But those are like the ones that you're pretty much super safe in. So where do we think Nell's Diner is going to be? I'd say A. And that's because I do like all of the hiding. I do like the hiding. I actually like the layout of the map. It's really good. And I think that, I mean, you'll see some other maps that came through later that maybe I don't like as much, but I felt like they really did a good thing with this map. It is good for beginner players because there's lots of hiding, and you're able to find the ghost relatively easily, and the secret that you can find out from Nell's Diner is way easier to get than something like Point Hope. So I do love Nell's Diner. All right, so Grafton. Where's Grafton? So Grafton does have a lot of hiding spots, and however, I'm not super into the layout. However, I do recognize it as being it's a good map. So I'm still gonna say it's A rank. So it's a great map. I like the fact that there's a lot more hiding. In original Grafton, there was not a lot of hiding, so that did make it difficult. There was a chair, there were lockers, but if those were done and they were out of the picture, then you had a hard time playing this. And I feel like there's a lot more hiding now. It also is, I think, more geared towards what they wanted to do, which is the Horror 2.0 later this year. So I'd say A rank. All right, 13 Willow Street. Do we like it or do we not? I'd say it's a map that I play frequently because it is a small map. But is it a good map? I don't know. I'd say B. It's okay. Like, I think that people might disagree with me because some people like to loop the ghosts more often. I'm not really into looping the ghosts, and this map is definitely geared towards more looping. There can be hiding, but there are sometimes you'll walk into the map and there is no hiding. So you kind of want to figure out the ghost and get out as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're gonna have to figure out your looping situation. And like I said, I don't like looping. So maybe this one's a bit controversial, but I think that Willow is a B. Next one is Camp Woodwind. I say Camp Woodwind is A, for sure. It has some hiding, but also the hiding can kill you. But I do like that it's small, you can get in and out. You can kind of get away from the ghost if you need, like if the ghost surprises you with the hunt. So I do like it. The only thing that keeps it from being S tier is that the smaller tents, I and a bunch of other people that I've played with have tried to hide in the smaller tents and they still get killed. So that is the only thing that keeps me from making that an S tier. But yeah, let's move on. Point Hope. Point Hope, Point Hope, Point Hope. D. I'm gonna get so much from this because I hate Point Hope. I think that it is very tedious to do. it gives you a bit of motion sickness having to go up and up and up. But otherwise, like, it's an okay map. It looks alright. The secret that you can get on that map is really cool. However, I just don't like Point Hope. If I ever pick random and I get Point Hope, I get upset. Like, it is the only map that I'll say, ugh, to, you know? But it's still good. I didn't include an E or an F, so it's just D. It's there. It's not exactly failing, but it kind of is, so let's move on. So Bleasdale. Bleasdale, I actually really liked Bleasdale in the beginning, and I still like it. It feels like there are a lot more rooms, a lot more going on, so I don't typically play it that often, and the fact that the ghost can show up outside is a bit weird. So I'd say it's a B for me. So next is Sunny Meadows Restricted. Sunny Meadows Restricted, actually not so bad. I would say that the fact that it is not with the entire map. The entire map is crazy. And I don't know if you guys ever played Asylum, but Asylum was insane, but you kind of got the hang of it. Sunny Meadows, I haven't played enough to get the hang of, and sometimes I will use a parabolic mic and not really understand what the ghost is, so I don't know, it's weird, but I still think that it's pretty good. So I'm gonna say Sunny Meadows Restricted is a B. It's good, it's not great. Like, clearly I have a thing for the smaller maps only because I like how easy it is to get objectives and stuff. Sunny Meadows Restricted does do that. So it is a B, it's not a C. Prison, I know people are gonna say that maybe they don't like Prison, but it's an A for me. The layout's pretty easy to get. It is literally just a middle and then a right and a left. So you are just going down. It's pretty easy to figure out. There are lockers right at the beginning, so it's easy. Also, I just love Prison. It used to be a bit easier to do because you could hide behind doors. Door tech back in the day was so good, but maybe that's why it's a little bit of nostalgia, because I really liked Prison back in the day, and so now that it's changed a little bit, it's different, but I still like it. It also makes for the most hilarious interactions with your players. So the fact that you can kind of, go to the showers, drop the soap, kind of pretend with that, it makes it fun. And also, like, that nostalgia factor is just there. But it's easy. I think that Prison's easy. The ghost can be in multiple rooms, and it's kind of your, entryway into, like, a bigger map. But I really like it. All right, let's go to Maple Lodge Campsite. So this one is another campsite. I'd say it's like Camp Woodwind. You have a generator instead of a breaker that you have to put on, and it's fine. I'd say there's too much going on for me, personally. So it's not one of my favorite maps. I think that I'm kind of getting from my ranking that if I was into looping, maybe I would like this, because there's a lot of looping spots in Maple Lodge Campsite, but it's a C for me. I don't really like it that much. Like, I rarely play it, even though I do have a computer now that can play it. But there's just too much going on. So let's go to Brownstone High School. All right, so Brownstone, when you first play it, you get so confused. When you go in, you kind of get turned around. You don't know where anything is. Once you get the hang of it, though, it's really good. As long as you notice that if you're facing the stairs, then your exit's behind you. And if you are looking at the stairs to your left or to your right, the exit's in front of you. So once you kind of understand that, you kind of get a feel for the map a little bit more. And I really like that. So I'm gonna say it's a B for me. And then there's Sunny Meadows. So Sunny Meadows is a bigger map. If you don't figure out the ghost room quickly, then it can be a bit tedious. However, I do like how much hiding there is. In the original Asylum, I felt like there wasn't really a lot of hiding and everything looked the same. So they did such a good job with this map making things look a bit different. And I would say it is a B for me. So let's look. So overall, Tanglewood and Ridgeview S tiered for me. An A tier would be Edgefield, Nell's Diner, Grafton, Camp Woodwind, Prison. B, Willow Street, Bleasdale, Sunny Meadows Restricted, Brownstone High School, and then Sunny Meadows. If you notice, I put Sunny Meadows Restricted and Sunny Meadows in the same tier. I personally don't see that much of a difference in Restricted. It does like close off the rooms, but it's still the same map pretty much, so you'll get to know it as well. Maybe Sunny Meadows Restricted could be A because it is a bit easier to do, but I also aesthetically don't find it that interesting. It is more interesting than Asylum, but not that interesting for me. So Maple Lodge Campsite is definitely a C tier. It's all right, but what it used to be, I personally liked it a lot better. And now there's just a lot going on. And it doesn't make sense as a campsite, like if I were to think about it IRL. So that's why I kind of put it in the C tier. And then Point Hope, D tier, fight me. Actually, legitimately fight me. If you have good points for why Point Hope is a good map, let me know. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little tier ranking of Phasmophobia maps, and I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.